Hello, I'm Darren, welcome back. Today we are in Alienware 2. We are running on the 7900 XTX paired with the 7800 X3D. And we are going through another video that I was kind of asked to have a look at, so we're going to look at it. We're going to look at the levels that you would need to go to run path tracing, which, as you can see at the moment, we're at 65 FPS. So this is basically the level that you'd have to go at if you wanted to keep everything else at either high or ultra. Now, if this is how it looks with everything at high and ultra, we don't. I can only give you my opinion, and my opinion is we don't want to do that. So on a still image, this looks to me like, if I show you at the moment, we are at 3840 by 1620. So we are using VSR. Now this is our native resolution is 3440 by 1440p, so we are trying to bump up the resolution and then obviously super sample back down. We are then having to use ultra performance FSR, which isn't pretty. So I don't even know. I'm going to say the resolution that I am seeing right now is less than 1080p. This isn't bringing back an image to 1440p. It's not bringing back an image to 1620p. It is nowhere near that higher resolution. It's not particularly good. So this is it still in motion. It gets a lot worse. That's when it absolutely breaks down. Obviously, if you're picking this up, the power lines almost disappear or flicker. Even objects like this yellow thing above my head turns very pixelated. Everything behind me is extremely pixelated. That character it's just not good. I'm not sure. I don't know what level of console you are going to get this bad an image quality. The effect that it has on the water is not good. We have stars and all sorts of, obviously, as you can see moving the camera, it just breaks up so badly. And it doesn't really get any better. The trees turn to mush. The cars are extremely pixelated. The water is absolutely pixelated. It's just not good. So we will take a look now. This is my having a look for the first time. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to start back at native. And we're going to get rid of this, and we're going to start that back at native, and we're going to get rid of, oh god, I probably should have got rid of this first, shouldn't I? I'm going to crash it now. No, here, you move. Okay, off, yes. Whew, that could have been a crash waiting to happen. So, instant, oh my god, improvement. Unbelievable improvement. Now, what we like for performance. I tell you what, this is still actually quite a brutal game, isn't it, for 1440p? Let me just check. So where are we now? I mean, saying that, this isn't your regular 1440p. This is ultra wide 1440p. It is demanding. So looking at that, what were we? We're around 80. You'd be closer to 800. At regular 1440p, and probably closer to 60-ish, I guess, at 4K. So let's go back in there and let's have a look. So at the moment we have, I take it we're on the high preset, are we? Even though it says custom. Strange how the high preset is a mixture of medium and high, and then an ultra thrown in. How they got that as a preset, that blows my mind, but whatever, okay. We'll deal with it. Obviously we have no VSync. We are obviously using FSR2, but we're at native, so is it fair to say? And there's no other option. Okay, so we are forced to use that. There is. Oh, is that what it's telling me there? There's no XeSS. So what's a Intel GPU supposed to do? Or would suddenly an Intel GPU get XeSS? Or is it forced to use FSR? That's interesting. Okay, so there is no option other than FSR2. Okay, we can work with that. So the problem that I'd have that from that point straight away is the fact that FSR2 isn't always the best anti-aliasing option. So at this point we will try and up the resolution. Just to see if that will give us a better anti-aliasing. Oh shit! How do I? Anti-aliasing solution. So we will go back to. Oh, you're not going to let me now. Why not? Oh, hold on. That would help. We'll go back to the 1620. I'm not sure that's going to cut it because I don't actually feel like I see much of a difference with 1620. I still don't see much of a difference. So let's try. I think we're going to be able to reach here to go to 4K ultra wide. I think that's going to be too much of a push. Let's try it. 40 FPS. Yeah, it's too much of a push. It's a very clean image. It's very nice. Water looks good. Everything around it looks good. I hate that shadow thing. That's the problem I had when I was looking at the NVIDIA GPU, and I believe the fix for that was some sort of shadow thing. Where is it? Shadow resolution. Or is it shadow filtering? No, shadow resolution. Putting that to high, I believe, fixes that. Yes, it does. And in fact, it doesn't really alter performance, so that's definitely a big one.
I'll be back in a second.
Okay, so we are still at native, so let's go to equality, which will render from our native resolution. This is good. That's actually fixed a lot of the anti-aliasing. It's a little bit softer, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. 78 FPS. I take it when we go down in here, we might end up around 60s. How are we doing? We're not bad, actually. Okay. So this is my starting point. This here, absolutely. This looks good. So we can basically, everything we do at this point, from what I'm concerned, we're working from here. So we either say we want more performance, in which case we're going to have to drop a few settings, or we say that I wouldn't worry too much about those stars. I've only just loaded into the game. It'll probably balance itself out. And I'm changing. Whenever you start doing these type of tests and you're constantly changing graphic settings, that will happen. And you will get someone in the comments saying, "Oh my god, Nvidia's so shit," or AMD's so shit. Look at the stuttering. Seriously. You're just banging through a menu, changing settings, changing settings, changing settings. You've got to give it time to balance out. You have to give it time to adjust shaders and all the rest of the stuff it has to do. So, I'm not saying that it will completely cure it. Some games just have a bit of stutter, but at the same time, when you're looking at a frame time graph, and you look at like those little ones that are going past now, you don't notice those in game. They're not a big deal. It's only when you get a huge hitch, and you won't even have to see the frame time graph to tell that I've just had a huge hitch. So don't worry about that. If I was playing it for the next hour without changing settings and it was still like that, then yeah, okay, maybe it's just not running particularly great. I did do the new driver update. There's a new driver update out yesterday. I've downloaded the new driver update today, so I don't know. I'm not sure yet. It might have a little bit of an issue on a few certain games. It will probably take a week or two for those to come to light completely, but we will find out. So, I don't think any ray tracing personally is going to be. I don't think low is actually going to add anything other than a huge hit in performance. So, I don't think it would actually do anything at low. So that's a pointless exercise. For a lot of ray tracing effects to really actually show use, they need to be at least high. Or obviously in a lot of games, ultra. And then they really do start to show how good they are. So we're going to forget that. Volumetric lighting, post-processing quality, such as halo effects, bloom, or blurring of objects that are not in focus, depth of field. So I'm going to guess out of everything, that is probably going to be the highest of impact for us. Although, I mean, I suppose it's not a game where you're ever particularly looking out over a long distance, are you? I haven't played that far into the game. I will do at some point, but it wasn't particularly. I don't know. I've just got too many other games at the moment, so I'm not going to say that it's a bad game. I'm not sure if that's a setting that we need to take. Let's have a look. What actually happens if we throw everything up to ultra? How bad does that get on performance? Or everything as high as it can go? Yeah, we're going to probably just drop below 60, aren't we? I wonder which one's got the heaviest impact.
I think I saw something. It'll only take a minute.
Volumetric, I suppose. I mean, let's be honest, you can play this game at like 58 or whatever. That's not an issue. I don't think dropping down FSR is going to be a good decision. I'd rather lose a few. We can try it. I'm already guessing at the moment it's picking up a bit of noise by using it. There is a bit of movement in the fences and stuff back there. The water is a bit noisy. I don't think it's going to be a good choice of something to do. We can look. Yeah, no, I'm not. It wasn't a huge impact, but it was certainly a softer image. I don't feel like I've particularly gained in the same way that I don't think I really gained much by adding those settings. So personally, I would rather leave it at quality and then drop some of these back again. I'm not sure what it was. If I go to the high preset again, what did we change? Shadow resolution, that needs to be high. What was the other one? Oh, the post-processing. I wonder why that was dropped down. Did I accidentally do that as I ran down the menu then? I must have. So the only ones it drops down is volumetric lighting and volumetric spotlight quality. Cone shape effects. Does that matter? Not really. Volumetric lighting. That could make a bit of an impact, if anything. We're above 60. 60 on this game is fine. For fluid motion frame users, you're in your fluid motion frames window of opportunity. So I'm going to basically call it there. I think that this is, for me personally, bumping up to this resolution to get the extra fidelity is far more important than trying to throw on any form of ray tracing, which is just too big of an impact. I don't think you're gaining on this system, again, by trying to add on something which you have to lose so much quality in your picture to try and do. I'm not. I mean, it's not like this game has terrible details or reflections. The reflections in the water are reflections, they're fine. RT, to me, RT is the cherry on top. It's not the, you know, it's not the base of the cake. You don't start with RT and then, you know, try everything else after that. Try to make it work from RT onwards. To me, you start from your base and then say, okay, what is the best way to start making this look good? And to me, resolution comes ahead of RT. Now, some games there's not a huge difference in resolution. Some games look actually very good at 1440p. So, in that respect, you might be in a situation where you think, I'd actually rather stay at native and I've got a ton of performance and it looks good, and at 1440p, whatever anti-aliasing solution you're using, whether it be FSR or just its standard AA, TSR, XCSS, DLSS, if you're not getting bad anti-aliasing at 1440p and you're getting a nice clean image and you have a ton of performance left on the table, then absolutely throw RT into it, no problem at all. In this game, stuck with only having FSR as an anti-aliasing solution at native 1440p, I don't think that the image was particularly great. So I'm not saying it was bad, but this is better. I think I've improved this so much more by taking it to that next resolution, which has fixed a lot of the anti-aliasing issues, than I would have by throwing ray tracing at it. Now, some people will look at what I'm saying and agree with what I'm saying, some people won't, and that's perfectly fine, because we play games how we want to play, and we play games with the performance that we want to have, and we play games with how we want them to look. That is the whole reason why there's so many options in the menu. We don't play games for what someone dictates to us, we have to play them at. But if someone asked me right now, I have a 7900 XTX and a 7800 X3D, and I happen to have a 34-inch ultra-wide monitor. If I love visuals, what is the best way that I can play Alan Wake? This is the settings that I'm giving to them. And if they want to add fluid motion frames on top, because it is quite a slow-paced game, it might be alright. I don't think you're going to get much in the way of artifacting. You're going to get a ton of latency. It's not going to make the game feel like... Obviously, if I add fluid motion frames to this, then it's going to 120 or, 115 or something like that. It's not going to be like you're playing at 120. It might, if you're lucky, be like you're playing at 80. So it's if it's gonna add something, but it's gonna give you a ton of latency. Now in this game, it probably doesn't matter that much because the movements almost feel like they have it. I mean, admittedly, the movements already feel like they've got a ton of latency. Maybe an extra 30 milliseconds of latency would actually be too much. Maybe for some people they probably think, oh, well, it's got so much latency, adding some more doesn't really matter. So that's for the individual. I can't show you it with fluid motion frames because I'm running an internal screen capture. So this is as far as I can take it, and this is what I would do. There's a bit of aliasing on the fences back there. Those power lines are very good, very good. You're only talking about that one back in the distance, which does disappear a bit, but at the same time, that's nothing huge at that distance. Those power lines back there, they're not shimmering, they're just actually just disappearing out, which isn't a bad thing. You can just about see, I know they're supposed to be there because I spotted it in the last game. They're almost impossible to see, but there is some, obviously, lines from those masts on that ship. You can just about make them out. They are there, they're not shimmering. The satellite tower in the back, it has a little bit of aliasing, but that's such fine lines at such a distance. That's nitpicking. The fence has got a little bit of a shimmer in it, nothing crazy. The water, a little bit, nothing crazy. All of that is fixed by going up a resolution. So I think fixing all of that is more important than trying to add ray tracing on top of it, because ray tracing on top of it will actually only just make it all more prominent and it will make it even worse. So that's where I'm at. Obviously that shadow quality thing that we put up to ultra fixes the, if you obviously take a look at this, oh shit, that's not options. So if you're only on the high graphical preset, it will throw shadow resolution to medium, and that, if you look at that white van and the side of that house, that to me is so distracting and horrible. This is probably the most important for me setting in the game, is just making sure whatever you do, you can keep that one on high. Where is it? There. You want that on high, because that is so less distracting and so much more realistic of, you know, a shadow coming through fine leaves. So that's the most important one. Obviously, decent HDR OLED screen. You're laughing. This looks good. It looks clean. The water looks like water. We're not getting that horrible like starry look to the water with all the like the little white stars on it. All of that at distance looks nice and clean. The lines of the masts, nah, that's me being fussy. Those lines look good. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to throw this one up. This is on the Alienware 34-inch ultra-wide, running the 7900 XTX with the 7800 X3D. These are the settings I would run. So we've basically put the resolution to 5160 by 2160 using virtual super resolution. We are using FSR at quality, and we have pretty much everything at high and ultra other than the volumetric spotlight quality. But we're not using any ray tracing. That's just the way it is. Like I said, resolution is king before we worry about stuff like that. And this is a very good, clean image. Like I said, if you want to bang fluid motion frames on top of it, it's not for me, but if it's for you, you're going to get around 120 FPS. So And all these character models now just look nice and clean. This guy isn't blurry at any distance. Just a decent looking image. So hopefully this is of use to someone. If you enjoyed, swing me a like, and I will catch you all in the next one.